Hello, everyone. Today, we are going to talk about something very important, something that stops many people from truly speaking English. Many English learners believe one strong idea. They believe this idea deeply. They repeat it in their heads every day. I will speak when my English is perfect. This idea sounds logical. It sounds responsible. It sounds smart. But this idea is a lie. And this lie is the main reason why millions of people never speak English confidently. Today, we will talk about why trying to speak perfect English is stopping you, not helping you, stopping you. Let me ask you a simple question. Do children speak their first language perfectly? No. They make mistakes every day. They say the wrong words, they use the wrong grammar, they pronounce things incorrectly. But they speak. They do not wait. They do not prepare. They do not say, I'm not ready yet. They speak first, and perfection comes much later, if it comes at all. Now look at adults learning English. Adults do the opposite. They wait, they think, they analyze, they correct themselves inside their heads before they even open their mouths. They build sentences silently, and by the time the sentence is ready, the moment is gone. The conversation has moved on. Someone else is already speaking, and you stay silent. Not because you don't know English, but because you are trying to speak it perfectly. Here's a hard truth. Perfect English does not exist. Not in real life, not in business, not even among native speakers. Native speakers make grammar mistakes, change sentences halfway through, forget common words, use filler words like or or you know. They do not speak like textbooks. They do not speak like exams. They do not speak like grammar rules. They speak comfortably, not perfectly. But as learners, you were taught something very different. From school, most people learn that mistakes are bad. Grammar must be 100% correct. Pronunciation must be flawless. Pauses are a sign of weakness. So you learn to fear mistakes, and fear creates silence. Let's talk about what actually happens in your brain. When you try to speak perfect English, your brain tries to do 3 difficult jobs at the same time. This is called cognitive overload. Your brain tries to translate from your native language, monitor your grammar rules, and calculate the correct pronunciation. This is too much for the human brain to handle in real time. Your brain freezes, your speech slows down, your confidence disappears. You feel an intense pressure in your chest, and that pressure kills fluency. Fluency is not speed. Fluency is not perfect grammar. Fluency is a massive vocabulary. Fluency is flow. Flow means you keep going. You don't stop for every tiny mistake. You don't panic when something sounds wrong. When you stop trying to be perfect, flow finally starts to appear. Now let's talk about a mindset shift. Communication is not a performance. You are not on a stage. You are not taking a test. You are not proving your intelligence to anyone. You are simply sharing meaning. If the other person understands you, your English is working. That is the real goal, not perfection, connection. Think about this. If someone speaks to you and makes a small grammar mistake, do you stop listening? Do you laugh at them? No, you still understand them. You still respond. You still communicate. So why do you expect perfection from yourself? Many learners tell me, I'm afraid people will judge me. But in real conversations, people are usually thinking about what they want to say next, their own problems, what they're having for dinner. They are not counting your mistakes. And even if someone notices a mistake, so what? Mistakes do not make you stupid, but silence prevents you from being known. The people who speak English the best are not the people who studied the most books. They are the people who spoke early, spoke badly, spoke often. They built confidence first. Accuracy came much, much later. You do not learn to speak by thinking about speaking. You learn to speak by speaking, imperfectly, slowly, uncomfortably. That discomfort is not a problem. It is a sign of growth. It is the sound of your brain getting stronger. So here is my new rule for you. Speak now, correct later. Do not correct yourself in the middle of a sentence. Do not restart sentences again and again. Do not apologize for your English. Say it. Finish the thought. Move forward. Stop waiting for a better time. Stop preparing forever. Stop telling yourself, one day I will be ready. There is no magical moment when English suddenly feels perfect. There is no final level where fear disappears. Confidence does not come before speaking. Confidence comes because of speaking. Think about the people you know who speak English with total confidence. They are not perfect. They don't use complex grammar every time. They don't search for fancy words, but they keep the conversation alive. They focus on meaning, not form. When you try to speak perfect English, you create a gap between what you want to say and what you allow yourself to say. That gap creates anxiety, and anxiety creates silence. Let's talk about pronunciation. Many learners say, I need better pronunciation before I start talking to people. But pronunciation is a physical skill, like a sport. You cannot fix it in silence. You fix it by using your voice, hearing the vibration, and adjusting. People understand you more than you think. Even with an accent, even with simple grammar, your fear is louder than your real problem. From today, your goal is not perfect grammar, perfect pronunciation, perfect sentences. Your new goal is be clear enough to be understood, clear enough to continue the conversation, clear enough to express your idea. English is not a performance, it is a tool. Tools do not need to be beautiful, they need to work. So here is your mindset shift. Instead of asking, was that correct? Ask yourself, was I understood? If the answer is yes, you succeeded. Allow yourself to speak imperfectly. Allow pauses. Allow simple words. Mistakes are not your enemy. They are your training. Stop trying to speak perfect English. Start speaking real English. Most learners believe mistakes are dangerous. They think mistakes make them look uneducated. They think mistakes block their progress. But the truth is the exact opposite. Mistakes are not the problem. Avoiding mistakes is the problem. Let me say this clearly. If you are not making mistakes, you are not speaking enough. Mistakes mean you are using the language. Mistakes mean your brain is working. Mistakes mean learning is happening. No mistakes equals no growth. Think about how the brain actually learns. When you make a mistake, your brain notices a gap between what you said and what you wanted to say. That gap is where the magic happens. It creates awareness, and awareness leads to improvement. Without mistakes, your brain has nothing to adjust. It has no data to learn from. Now, look at what many learners do. They try to avoid mistakes at all costs. So they use very short, simple sentences. They repeat the same safe phrases over and over. They avoid new vocabulary because they aren't sure of the pronunciation. They stay quiet in group conversations. This feels safe. It feels comfortable. But safe English does not become fluent English. To get to the next level, you must leave the safety zone. Let's talk about a very common, very destructive habit: self-correction while speaking. You start a sentence, you stop, you restart. You fix the grammar, you change the word, you apologize. I went to the store. Sorry, my English is bad. This habit kills your flow. And remember, fluency is flow, not correctness. When you correct yourself too much, 3 things happen. Number 1, the listener loses focus on your idea and starts focusing on your struggle. Number 2, you lose your own confidence. Number 3, the rhythm of the conversation dies. Native speakers do not do this. Native speakers say the wrong word all the time, but they keep going. They don't stop the car to fix a small scratch on the door while they are driving. They just keep driving. Here's an important rule for you. Finish the thought. Even if the sentence is not perfect, even if the grammar is wrong, finish it. Your message matters more than the grammar rules. Now let's talk about the root of this problem, fear. Fear does not come from the mistake itself. Fear comes from the attention you think the mistake is getting. When you speak, you feel like there is a spotlight on you. You think everyone is judging your verb tenses, but they are not. Most people are focused on understanding your idea, responding to your question, and their own thoughts and lives. People respect effort. When someone speaks a second language, even imperfectly, most listeners feel patience and support. They aren't thinking their grammar is bad. They're thinking, I understand what they mean. You are much harder on yourself than anyone else will ever be. Let's talk about another ghost that scares learners, accents. Many learners say, I want to get rid of my accent. Here's the truth. An accent is not a problem. An accent is normal. It's a sign that you speak more than one language. It's a sign of intelligence. Almost everyone in the world speaks English with an accent. British people have accents, Americans have accents, Australians, Irish, and Canadians all sound different. Which one is correct? There is no single correct sound. Your goal is not accent-free English. Your goal is clear English. If people understand you, your accent is working perfectly. Let's shift your mindset again. Instead of asking, did I make a mistake, ask yourself, did I communicate my idea? If the answer is yes, you succeeded. Here's another trap learners fall into. They wait until they know enough English to start speaking. But enough is a moving target. When you learn 500 words, you think you need 1,000. When you reach 1,000, you think you need 3,000. This cycle never ends. There is always one more grammar rule or one more list of vocabulary. Speaking is not the final stage of learning English. Speaking is the middle of learning. You speak, you notice a problem, you improve, you speak again. That is the only way to get better. Let's make this practical for your life today. From now on, number 1, do not stop for small mistakes. Number 2, do not apologize for your English. Number 3, do not explain that you are still learning. We are all still learning. Just speak. Let the conversation move forward. Here is a simple exercise for you today. When you speak English, try to say one complete thought without stopping to fix a word. Just one. Do not repeat it. Do not fix the tense. Just finish it. That is real progress. Remember this. Perfect English does not create confidence. Confidence creates better English. You do not become confident because you speak well. You speak well because you were brave enough to speak badly until it got better. In the next part, we're going to dive deeper. We'll talk about how to stop translating in your head, how to think in meaning instead of grammar, and how to build a natural flow that feels easy. But for now, remember this. Your mistakes are the ladder you climb to reach fluency. Don't hide them, use them.
Many English learners believe their biggest problem is vocabulary. They think, I don't know enough words. But very often, that is not the real problem. The real problem is translation. When you speak English, do you translate in your head? You think of a thought in your native language. You search for the exact words. You build the grammar structure. Then you translate the sentence into English. This process is exhausting. It is slow, and slow thinking creates slow, broken speech. Let's be clear. Fluent speakers do not translate sentences. They think in meaning. They think in ideas. They think in intentions. The words come after the idea, not before it. Translation feels safe. It feels logical, but it keeps you trapped because real conversations move fast. People do not wait 10 seconds while you translate a sentence in your mind. Think about your native language for a moment. Do you translate before you speak? No. You feel an idea, a need, or a question, and you say it. English needs to become that same kind of process. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be direct. Many learners ask me, how do I stop translating? My brain just does it automatically. The answer is simpler than you think. You stop translating by speaking simpler English. Here is the complexity trap. When learners try to speak, they try to express complex adult ideas using advanced grammar they haven't mastered yet. They want to say beautiful, long sentences. This forces the brain to translate because the English brain isn't strong enough yet to handle that much weight. Fluent speakers do the opposite. They break big ideas into small, manageable pieces. They use short sentences, simple structures, clear meaning. This reduces thinking time and allows the English brain to take over. Let's look at an example. Instead of trying to translate this complex thought, I was extremely frustrated because the situation did not develop according to my initial expectations. This is hard to say without translating. Say this instead. I was frustrated. Things did not go as I expected. Same meaning, less thinking, more flow. Thinking in English does not mean thinking in perfect academic sentences. It means thinking in meaning units, one idea at a time. Here is a powerful rule for your next conversation. One sentence, one idea. When you follow this rule, 3 things happen. 1, you stop translating because the sentence is too short to need it. 2, you stop freezing because you aren't overwhelmed. 3, you keep the conversation moving, which builds your confidence. Now, let's talk about speed. Many learners think, I need to speak faster to sound fluent. But speed is not the goal. Clarity is. In fact, when you try to speak too fast, you trigger the translation habit again because you get panicked. When you speak clearly and simply, speed comes naturally over time. Another important point, pauses are not your enemy. Native speakers pause all the time. They think, they breathe, they search for a word. A pause is not a failure. It is a natural part of human speech. What makes a pause uncomfortable is not the silence, it is your panic during the silence. When you pause and think, I sound stupid, your confidence breaks. Let's change that mindset. When you pause, tell yourself, I am organizing my idea. That is what professionals do. That is what leaders do. Now, let's talk about that inner critic, the voice inside your head. You sound wrong. That grammar is bad. They are judging you. This voice is the manual translator. You need to fire him. Replace that voice with a calmer one that says, I am communicating. This is good enough for now. I am being understood. Let's make this practical with a daily exercise. Choose one simple activity today. Maybe it's making coffee, walking to your car, or cleaning your desk. Describe what you are doing out loud in English without translating. Use the simplest sentences possible. I am making coffee. The water is hot. I like the smell. Now I am ready for work. No translation, no perfection, just direct meaning. Do this for 2 minutes every day, and you will begin to wire your brain to connect actions directly to English words. Another tip, when someone asks you a question, do not prepare a perfect answer. Do not build a 20-word sentence in your head. Answer with 3 words, then add 3 more. Build the bridge as you walk on it. Remember this, you do not need better English to speak. You need simpler English. Simple English creates flow. Flow creates confidence, and confidence eventually creates better English. Stop asking, how do I say this correctly? Start asking, how can I say this simply? This small change changes everything. In real life, people care about your meaning, not your structure. They want to connect with you. When you stop translating, your brain relaxes. Your speech becomes smoother. Your anxiety disappears. You are no longer a translator. You are a communicator. Speaking English isn't about showing how much you know. It's about sharing who you are. When you focus on meaning, the language becomes lighter. In the final part, Part 4, we will talk about how to build daily speaking habits that actually work, how to practice without feeling pressure, how to make English a natural part of your real life so you never have to study it again. For now, remember the new rule. Stop translating, start thinking in meaning. I'll see you in the next part.
Build real fluency in real life. We have reached the most important part of this journey, action. You can understand all the ideas I've shared. You can agree with everything I've said about perfection and mistakes, but without action, nothing in your life changes. Fluency is not built inside your head. It is not built by reading silently or memorizing lists. Fluency is built in real moments, short moments, daily moments, ordinary, messy moments. Many learners think they need special conditions to improve. They think they need a private tutor, a trip to an English-speaking country, or a sudden burst of confidence. But real fluency grows in imperfect situations. It grows when you were tired, when you were busy, and when you don't feel ready. Let's talk about habits. You do not need long, painful study sessions. In fact, those often lead to burnout. What you need are small, daily speaking habits, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, every single day. Here is a simple truth. Consistency beats intensity. Speaking for 10 minutes every day is 100 times more powerful than speaking for 2 hours once a week. Why? Because daily practice keeps your English centers of your brain awake. It tells your brain that English is a survival tool, not a hobby. Let's build a simple system for you, starting today. Rule 1. Speak out loud every day. Even if you are alone in your room, even if you are just talking to your dog or your morning coffee. Your brain needs to hear the sound of your own voice speaking English. Your mouth muscles need to practice the movements. Silent English never becomes spoken English. If you only practice in your head, you will always freeze when you have to speak to a real person. Rule 2. Connect English to your real life. Stop talking about random topics from textbooks that you don't care about. Speak about your day, your plans, your feelings. If you are frustrated at work, describe why in English. If you are excited about a movie, explain the plot to yourself. Real life creates real language. When you talk about things that matter to you, your brain works harder to find the words. Rule 3. Give yourself permission to be bad. Do not stop mid-sentence. Do not fix every grammar tense. Do not judge your accent. Progress needs permission. You must give yourself permission to speak broken English today so that you can speak fluent English next year. Now, let's talk about your environment. Your environment shapes your English. If English only exists in books or in your classroom, it will stay academic and cold. You need to bring English into your personal space. Change the small things. Change your phone language to English. Write your to-do list in English. Think your simplest thoughts in English. Let the language become a familiar friend, not a scary stranger. Another important point, you do not need to sound smart. Many learners use big words to try and prove their intelligence, but the most powerful communicators in the world use simple, clear language. Clear English builds trust. Clear English builds connection. If you can explain a complex idea using simple words, you are more fluent than someone who uses big words but cannot be understood. Let's talk about confidence again. Confidence does not arrive in the mail. It doesn't appear after you pass a test. It grows quietly after many small wins. It grows after you finish a sentence despite a mistake. It grows after you order food and get exactly what you wanted. It grows when you realize you stopped worrying about what people think. Do not wait for motivation to start. Motivation comes after action, not before. Action creates results. Results create confidence. Confidence creates motivation. It's a cycle, but you have to push the wheel first. Now, a word on comparison. The fastest way to kill your progress is to compare yourself to others. Stop comparing your Chapter 1 to someone else's Chapter 20. Stop comparing yourself to native speakers or influencers. Compare yourself only to your past self. Are you slightly more comfortable than you were last month? Did you say one extra sentence today? That is real progress. Many learners ask me, when will I finally feel fluent? There is no finish line. Fluency doesn't feel like a trophy. It feels normal. One day you will realize you are speaking without translating. You are responding naturally. You have stopped worrying about your mistakes. That is the moment you've arrived. Let's create a simple daily promise. Say this to yourself every morning. I will speak today, even if it's not perfect. That promise is enough to change your life. Let's summarize everything we have learned in this series. Number 1, perfection is a lie that creates fear. Number 2, fear creates silence, but mistakes create growth. Number 3, translating is a trap. Speak simply to find your flow. Number 4, action is the only way forward. English is not a test to be passed. It is a tool to be used. So, use it, break it, play with it. Stop trying to speak perfect English. Start speaking real English. I'll see you in the next video. Keep speaking.